In this video, I'd like to share a few gospel jazz chords that we can use within the song Friend of God by Israel Houghton. But first, I'd like to thank you guys who have supported this channel through the purchases of the course or by downloading the MIDI files that I provide at the end of these types of videos. So make sure to stick to the end of the video so you can download the MIDI file to this particular tutorial. Now, the song is in the key of E major. And let's introduce the concept of pedal point, right? All that simply means is that the chords that we play, the voicings for these chords will maintain a common note, all right? In this case, the common note will be at the top of the chord, and that note is B, right? The 5 of E. So the beginning of the song would sound something like this. I'll hum it or sing it as horribly as I sing, but hopefully you can follow along. So we go. Right, so what am I playing here? If we look at the original chords of the song, or the basic chords, we start on the 1. We go to the 6, then the 2, when I go, and back to the 1. So I introduce some passing chords, but keep in mind I am trying to maintain that pedal point on B. So I started on the 1, and this voicing, very colorful. It's an E major 9. All I'm doing is adding a major 7th and a 9th to the chord. Right, this would be an E major. I'm adding the major 7th and the 9th. And I'm also doubling up on the 9th down here to fill it up. We can open up the voicing a little bit more if we wanted to. Depends on if you're playing with a bass player or not. So that's the 1 chord. Now we use a passing chord to get us to the 6. Now, like always, this passing chord is simply the 5 of the target chord, which is the 6. So this chord right here is the 5th of C sharp minor. Now the voicing that we're using, again, we're maintaining that pedal point on B. So I am playing a G7 altered chord. Now what causes this alteration? Right, we're playing, if you notice, G7, I'm playing in this open voicing or 10th voicing, right? The 1st, the 7th, and the 3rd. Now these extra notes that I add are the altered notes. This would be the sharp 5. This is simply the G sharp again, but up here that B becomes the sharp 9. And you'll see how that B sort of changes it changes the role that it plays within the voicing. So we started on the 1, that was the 5. Now it becomes the sharp 9, and then it becomes the minor 7 or the 7th in the next chord, which is a C sharp minor 7. And then we play another passing chord to get us to the 2. Now you can see how this becomes the 7th again, but we're playing a dominant chord for the C sharp. Now this is another altered chord, right? We have the 1st, the root, 3rd, and 7th. Then we have the the flat 9 and the flat 5. In the other chord, we had a sharp 9 and sharp 5. Now we have a flat 9 and flat 5. Then the next chord is a 2 chord. This is an F sharp minor 11, one of my favorite voicings because of how it's formed, right? All I'm doing is playing F sharp as my root, and then I'm going to think I'm going down 2 half steps from F sharp. 1, 2, I have an E. So my right hand is going to focus on playing that E major chord. Then to finish up the chord, right, we add the 5th of F sharp. Then we can add the minor the 10th, or the minor third, right? We can call it a minor 10th, I'm not sure, but that would be the minor third up an octave, right? F sharp, C sharp, and A under an E major chord. We can even play like this by using the 9th instead of the 10th. All right, so far we have when I call. Now here we play a 5. And here we have two options. We can still maintain that pedal point on B, right? But sometimes we want to conform to the melody of the song in this case, all right? So we would go, and that is simply a 4 over a 5, right? 4, A major, over the 5 as a suspended chord, a B7 sus 4. That gives us a B9 sus 4. And we're back to the 1. Now, as you can notice in this section of the song, between the first verse and the second verse, there's sort of a long measure, a long pause, or where we stay on the 1 chord for a long time. So we can include a progression that will get us back to the 1. And the progression that I included here, right, we finished off on the 1. We did a 4, 6, 2, 5, 1. Slowly, that's a 4, 6, 2, 5, and back to the 1. Now, what voicings are we using, right? We started a simple A major 7, then a C sharp 9 sus 4, then this chord again, F sharp minor 11. Now here for the 5, one of my favorite voicings for the 5, sort of a tritone in the left hand, which comes from a B7, right? We're just playing that rootless B7. And the right hand is going to play the 3rd of that B, the 6th, and the 9th. And we could technically finish it off on a rootless voicing like this, which would be implying an E6-9, okay? So all together. And sometimes you've heard maybe in some gospel records they do this type of move. That's something you can include, right? If you want to get fancy or creative, okay? Now, this verse, second verse, is very similar. Only the last chord changes a bit. So we go. Here we can sort of switch it up a bit, right? Instead of maintaining the pedal point, we can play around with the actual melody. So. Right, so what am I playing here, right? I played a 1 chord. This is a typical 7-3-6. Instead of playing it as the diatonic 7, which would be a D sharp half diminished, I played it instead as a D sharp 7 altered. In this case, it's a sharp 9 flat 5, where in simpler terms we're playing a D sharp with the 3rd, and the right hand is going to play a minor 3rd up from D sharp as a minor chord. So a minor 3rd up would be F sharp. Play a minor chord on top of D sharp and G. Then we play the 3, again another altered chord, and then the 6. So Then from here, I sort of explored different scales. Right? We're exploring that G sharp minor scale, and we formed this chord, which is a G sharp minor 11. Right? We wouldn't include, for example, the A sharp within the E major scale. Right? Sort of sticks out. But in this 3 chord, we incorporate that note to form this G sharp minor 11 type of sound. So we had right, and from here we go into the chorus of the song. I am a friend of God. The chords are 1 to the 6. I am a friend of God. I am a friend. A 2. He called me friend. And back to the 1. Very similar to the first verse. So what can we play here? Something like this. Very similar to what we did in the beginning, right? Right, we're playing a 1 to a 3 in a different inversion to the 6. Then a 3, 4, 2, and back to the 1. What's that turnaround that we did there? We did a 6 or a 4/6, a 1 to a 7 to the 5, and then back to the 1. Mess that up. Next section of the song, it goes, it's just going from a 4 to a 3 to a 2 and back to the 4. And here we can incorporate different 2-5-1s, right? Something like this. God Almighty, minor 2 to the 5 to the 1, right? But we're thinking in terms of the target chord, which is G sharp. So we did a 4, then a minor 2 of that G sharp to a 5, and then we land on that G sharp, which we actually voiced as a 1/3, okay? Lord of glory. Here we do the same thing, but now with the target chord being F sharp. So we did a G sharp minor 7, flat 5, or a G sharp half diminished, to the C sharp altered, and then we land on the 2, which is F sharp minor 9. Right, and we're just using this as a passing chord to get us back to the 4. Alright, so now, like I said in the beginning, I'm going to play through the entire song, and I'll leave a MIDI link in the description for download if you want to help support the channel, or if you want to continue learning this in all of your keys, okay?